Hey guys, this video is going to be the Inside Out book tag, which was started by Kristina Horner. I'll try and remember to leave a link to her video in the description, but I actually haven't seen Inside Out yet. I really want to, but I really like this tag and you don't actually have to have seen the movie to do it, so I decided to go ahead and do it anyway. First question is, which book brings you the most joy? And Kristina said Harry Potter, and I'm gonna have to go with Harry Potter too, because on Tumblr, on my Tumblr sidebar, I have Harry Potter like described as the first love of my life, which is basically true, and it's like my go-to thing to cheer me up, and I have the most like memories connected to Harry Potter, like books, the movies, the fandom in general. Second question is disgust, and which book grossed you out the most? Thing is, I don't really read a lot of like disgusting books or gory books. I have a blood phobia, so I tend to avoid overly bloody things. Like, I read things that have scenes here or there that could be kind of disgusting, but nothing that bad and not enough to like really come to mind for this. So I was thinking really hard about this question, and the best answer I came up with was the Hiroshima book. I don't know if anyone else has heard of it. I think it's like pretty, like, kind of a classic. I had to read it for school. Freshman year of high school, we read it. It's like 4 chapters long, I think. It's really short, but it's about the first atomic bomb, and it follows like 4 people on that day, I think. And we had, like I said, I had to read it for school, and it was really terrible in like a disgusting way. The book wasn't bad, and I think it's important in a lot of ways, like to see the aftermath of the bomb and things, because they were like true stories. But I remember one of the like most vivid parts of that book was talking about how people's eyeballs were like melting out of their sockets from the bomb, and there were a lot of things like that in the book, and I don't think that anyone in my class was particularly happy to be reading it, just because we were all grossed out by it. So that probably goes down as one of the most like graphic books I've ever read in that sort of vein. The next question is fear, and what book scared you the most? Don't read that many scary books, which I'm learning is a thing. Clearly I have a lot of things I don't like in books, like goriness and fear and sadness, which is the next question, and I tend to stay away from all of them. I mean, I read books that have those sorts of things in them, but I don't read horror books that often. And I'm gonna go with The Name of the Star by Maureen Johnson. This is like one of the only ghost books that I have. Like, Harry Potter has ghosts in it. The Mortal Instruments has like, well, the Mortal Instruments doesn't really have any ghosts, but there are ghosts in that world, and I think The Infernal Devices has a ghost in it. Things like that. But I don't read like ghost stories. But then this is a ghost story, and it also deals with Jack the Ripper and people being murdered and things like that, and it's not extremely scary. I like wouldn't consider it a horror book. It's not really gory and things like that. It's kind of, I guess, like a lighter ghost book, but it is spooky in some parts, and there were times where I was reading it at night, and because I'm easily scared, I got like a little freaked out, but it wasn't like terrible. But I would definitely recommend this, by the way, for people who don't really like really scary things but kind of want a book along those lines, because I really liked it, and like I said, I don't typically like scary things, and it freaked me out like just the right amount. The question is sadness, and which book made you the saddest? I also don't read that many sad books. I don't typically enjoy going into books knowing that they're going to make me sad, so I didn't. Most of what I thought about this was for like the end of series, like Harry Potter especially, like, but I feel like that's mostly because you get attached to the characters, so whenever anyone dies, as they tend to do at the end of series, you get like even more upset about it than you would be if it was like a shorter book. So I decided to think like sad overall, and I went with like pretty stereotypical answer, but it's The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. Obviously, I feel like a lot of people would say this book, but Obviously this is about kids with cancer, as pretty much everyone knows, and I don't read a lot of books like that. I don't tend to be drawn to books that I think will make me cry. I read this primarily because I'd already read John Green's other books and loved them. So otherwise I might not have picked it up just because I don't tend to go for sad things. So it's the best answer that I have for this. The last question is based around anger, and it's which book pissed you off the most. And the way I see this, there are like kind of two ways you can take this. You can take it which book was so terribly written that you hated it, or you could go the route like it was well written but it made you angry some other way. And I'm gonna go with the later instead of like ranting about books that I didn't like. And I actually came up with two options because one of them, I talked about this recently. I can't even remember what video it was. I just know it was like a tag video, and I think it was the last tag video I did before this. But it's Specials by Scott Westerfeld. This is the third book in the Uglies trilogy, and I got a bit spoilery the last time I talked about why this makes me angry. So I'm gonna try and keep it spoiler free this time. But I hate the main character of this book and one of the two, because it's a love triangle, one of the two love interests. I'm not going to say which one of the love interests I hate in this particular video. I have said it before because I'm going to go ahead and tell you that I hate the one that she ends up with. So I don't want to tell you which one that is if you haven't read them, but I hate both of them. And this is one of those books where I hate the main character, but I love the story, but I hate her, so I'm angry at her most of the time while reading it, and I don't like the decisions she makes, which are kind of like excusable in some ways, because you know that her, like, the entire plot of these books, and this is going to be a slight spoiler, but not a huge one, especially past the first book, but you know her mind is getting messed with, and that's part of the story, so you kind of want to excuse her, but I still can't stand some of the decisions she makes. So I spent a good deal of this series angry at her. And my second choice for this is a series that I have on ebook, so I don't really have anything to show you, but it's the Star-Crossed series by Rachel Higginson. And I've talked about this series before as being one of my favorite series ever, and it's my favorite self-published series ever. But the main character, Eden, I don't hate her like I hate Tally in these books, but Eden is very oblivious, and things keep happening to her throughout the entire series, and it is very obvious things that she's just completely oblivious to. And you know, all the other characters get what's going on, and yet Eden doesn't get what's going on, and you just want to like yell at her the entire book, like, these things are right in front of you, why can you not see them? So I like her and everything, I don't hate her, but she does some really stupid things, mostly like just doesn't fully get what's going on when what's going on is really obvious. That does get really frustrating at times throughout that entire series. It gets particularly bad towards the end, so I'm gonna go with that as my second option. So that's all of the questions. If you guys do this tag as well, please let me know in the comments because I would love to watch your videos, and I will see you guys later. Bye.